But what we've done recently is that we've taken all the user data that we have collected about what people are recording and then ranked all the content. And so instead of just saying, well, hey, here's 16,000 shows, everything is now grouped into categories and ranked by popularity. So if you're interested in a home improvement show, of which we have 98, you now see a list of them in popularity. If you want to know the best auto racing shows, of which we have 35, they're all ranked on popularity. And that popularity is actual user behavior. It's not, our editors or what Michael likes. It's actual user behavior. And a couple really amazing things emerge from this. Number one, the enormity of radio content and the diversity of it. I mean, when I often tell people, hey, how many radio shows do you think there are in the United States? And usually people say, 500, 1,000. When I tell them there's 16,000 that we've counted, and I know we don't have them all, they're astonished. But for the most part, that content is hidden away. If a guy's broadcasting out of Boise, how are you ever going to know about it if you don't live in Boise?
Right.
And I think that's what's interesting with the official launch of DAR is that we're going from just a recording utility to a discovery, content, browsing utility where it's really interesting to try to find content.
How do you think you went from 500 to 5? These in-depth radio charts, right? What is it that you're planning to do with them? How are you going to get them out? What is your goal with them?
Well, we've launched them on DAR.fm, and so people can browse them, and, we'll start telling the world tomorrow about that. But I think a lot of this we expect to grow organically. I don't know how much you know about my background, Ed, but I did a company called MP3.com. And there are huge parallels between what I did at MP3 and what we're doing at DAR. What I mean by that is when I started MP3.com, I built a system where any artist in the world could upload their promotional songs. Well, people were critical of it and said, well, you're just going to have a bunch of, crap and it's going to be hard to find anything. And so I said, no, you're right. We should build a system that automatically measures what consumers are doing and ranks all the content so the good stuff bubbles up to the top. Because people naturally go to the top of a chart, right? If you're interested in a home improvement show, you're going to go click on the home improvement section. You're going to see what that top show is. Well, that was what we did successfully at mp3.com, and that's exactly what we're doing at DAR. So I expect a lot of the traffic to just be organic. People who are interested in soccer say, well, are there any radio shows that deal with soccer? Well, it turns out there are 9, and they can now click, record them, and listen to them at their leisure.
What did you find out was the most interesting from the research to you?
Several things, but I'll caution this and say that it's still so early that I think it's risky to jump to definitive conclusions. But here's a few things. When we first launched, we were about 50% music and 50% talk shows. So people would record 50% of the time they record music and 50% of the time they record a talk show. Today, it's 90-10. 90% of the time people are recording talk shows and only 10% of the time they're recording music. So I think talk has really, the ability to time shift talk has really resonated well with people, and we're seeing much more action on that side of the business rather than on the music side. So I think that has been, one of the big ahas.